in general, so I think we'll be fine. So if you've talked to me tonight, you probably saw me fangirl because it's been a long time since I've seen so many people related to PadSplit or Strataventures, never so many people related to Strataventures in one place at the same time. So it is so nice to meet you. Is this louder? Are we getting louder? Love it. Okay, great. I have come to be here, and I'm just going to keep it quick because I know we all just want to eat and drink a little beer. But I want to explain PadSplit in case anyone is a little bit less familiar with the concept. I'm happy to preach it all day long, but basically what we do is we are like Airbnb. That's probably the easiest way to put it. We are a platform in the middle of a real estate investor and someone who is renting. But what's different about us is we specialize in helping investors with a rent by the room model. And the reason we do that is, one, as an investor, we'll get through the, did we lose? Okay. So as an investor, you can take a look at this over here and see how you might make more money renting by the room, and I'll talk through an example. Or if you're on the other side and you're renting, it's getting pretty expensive to live in a city, as we all know, and so it creates an affordable housing option for people. But on the investor side, we can use this kind of as a guide. So this before PadSplit would be what you would consider a traditional single-family rental as an investor. So this is a property that you're just trying to make a little bit of extra income on the side. And this one is a 4-bedroom, let's see, 3-bath. So before PadSplit, it looks like this person was making an income of $700 on this house. I don't know what the rent is, you know. Depending on what the rent and their expenses are, they're now making $700. Well, with PadSplit, we take non-rentable or underutilized space in a house, like a living room, maybe an office, and then we turn that into rentable space. So now you can rent by the room and take that office and call it a bedroom. You add a door to it. The living room, you might split into 2 additional rooms. So you take this 4-bedroom, 3-bath, and then after what our team would help you sort of consult you through, we have, I don't have this example memorized, but 7 bedrooms in this one. So now you're renting by the room on 7 bedrooms, and let's say it was $600 a month per room, $4,200 revenue. We've all got our expenses as investors. So now this person's making $2,200 where they were making $700 before. So that's how the model works. As a real estate investor, super exciting, right? Making more money. But I wanted to just take a little bit of time to talk about why PadSplit exists, because really what started our company is the mission, and the mission is affordable housing for our workforce. So I'm going to use a real story that PadSplit employees have probably heard before, but there's a woman named Laura, and she is a pastry chef in Atlanta, and she works at one of the main universities, Georgia State University. She could only afford to live an hour and a half away from the university that she worked at with the income that she was making as a chef at this university. And in the summer, students go home, cuts her hours. She couldn't even afford to live at that place that was an hour and a half away anymore. What did Laura do? She made a choice. She had to work, but she couldn't afford that place anymore. She slept at the airport. She slept in the lobby every single night, every single summer, because she didn't have a choice. And people would see her every single day and have no idea that she was working but homeless. Before PadSplit, why didn't that work for Laura? Well, most rentals require 3 times the rental amount in income. And for Laura, that would mean $500 or less for an apartment. You can't do that. You cannot do that ever, especially in a growing city, especially in a growing metro. So she was out of options, and that's where PadSplit came into her story, where now she found a room. At the time when she first started with PadSplit, it was 4 years ago, she found a room for $500 a month, all utilities included. And for the first time, probably, I can't speak for her, but she was able to not only have a place to live, she was also able to save money on top of that. And these types of stories, it's one example, but someone like Laura is really the real reason that we're doing this. This is a problem in America, and what do you know? When an investor can make more money on their rental property, that's an incentive on one side. That's going to create the supply. And then if you can find a place to live when you need it, all right, everybody's winning. So that's the idea. We're aligning incentives across groups. The investor's making more money, and someone is having an affordable space to live. That's why we exist. Sounds great in theory. It is great in theory. Operations are hard. If you have a rental property, you know how hard it is. And that's why we have PadSplit in the middle. So we're like Airbnb, but where we get a little bit more involved is that we help with actually renting out these rooms. So what PadSplit does is we do the marketing, we do the lease up, and we're filling these rooms. We're actually collecting the money from people who are renting by the room, and then we are paying investors out every single month. And the investor is responsible for, managing the property, maintenance, cutting the grass, the things that PadSplit can't do from headquarters in Atlanta. But we actually do in-house sort of management of people. So what that means is if Joey is stealing someone's peanut butter, they can call our 24/7 support, or they can email us and they can tell us about that, and we can help sort of manage those behavioral disputes that might happen between strangers. So PadSplit is in the middle to do whatever we can to make it easier on you as an investor to be involved in something like this, because we really care about the mission, and we really care about investors being excited about making more money and helping people out in the process. So just wanted to give kind of the heartfelt approach to why we do this. Happy to talk returns any day, but I kind of wanted you to understand the heart behind what we do. Thank you for being here. I will say we could not do this without the partners that are here tonight. StrataVentures being first and foremost this incredible partner bringing us all together. And then we have contractors, property managers, photographers who are here with us too, and PadSplit wouldn't be where we're at in Houston without you people. So let's eat, let's drink, let's talk. I'm so excited. Yes, question.
How long of a lease do you do?
How long of a lease? Good question. So for PadSplit, you have a minimum commitment of 30 days to stay, and then it's week to week from there. So members, PadSplit members, that's what we call people who stay in PadSplits, they pay weekly, because if I told you to tell me what day of the week, what is it, November 30th is, can you tell me what day of the week that is? No, me either. I have no idea. And when you're living paycheck to paycheck, you need a little bit more stability in predicting when that money is coming in and out. So that's why we do weekly or bi-weekly. And with that approach, it sounds sort of short term, because you have a minimum of 30 days, you're paying weekly, bi-weekly, but we actually have an average tenure, so people tend to stay 9 months or 10 months, depending on when we're measuring. 9 to 10 months people stay in a PadSplit, but they pay weekly or bi-weekly. Yeah, questions?
What markets are you in?
What markets are we in? We are based in Atlanta. We have over 2,000 people staying with us in Atlanta right now. And we are growing in Houston. We have 200 rooms active in Houston, 200 more underway in construction, and tons more coming through StrataVentures, even more than that. And we are also growing in Dallas right now, so I'm in Dallas and Houston. And we're growing in Florida, in Jacksonville, and Tampa.
I have a question.
Question, yes.
What is your average, according to your stats, your vacancy and length of time for a person to stay there?
Average vacancy and length of time to stay. Vacancy, so we talk more in terms of occupancy of PadSplit. Occupancy, so if you think about it, we're renting by the room. This house is 7 bedrooms. For us, occupancy would be how many rooms are filled at a given time if you went onto your PadSplit dashboard and just took a look at how many tenants you had. So the average for us is 95% occupancy based on Atlanta statistics. But in a new market, you have to consider it's going to take a little bit more time because people are not as familiar with the model. So in Houston, we see that the houses are stabilizing is what we call it, where maybe one bedroom is not booked at any given time. We see that around 60 days, so 2 months to fill. However, I will say there's a quality component to that, and the reason I say that is because right here in the front, we have Dave Edwards, who is a host, and I tell you that it takes 60 days to fill a home. Well, Dave will send me a text and say, hey, what's going on? I have 100% occupancy at all times. Is this normal? Dave is an incredible host, and that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Like Airbnb, this is a competitive market. If you stick out in terms of quality and management, then the best man wins. And Dave is absolutely our top host here in Houston. So he's seeing 100% occupancy. Other homes are around 60. So it's tough to generalize, especially early in a market, but has a lot to do with the choices that you make.
I have a question.
Yes, question.
That's a 7-bedroom. What's the square footage of the house?
7-bedroom house over here in this chart. What is the square footage? Good question.
Ron.
So a home might be, so these are traditional single family homes in this type of example. StrataVentures is doing a lot of new construction where they're thinking through the PadSplit model in advance. With a traditional home, you're taking a 1,600 square foot home that was on the market since the 60s, let's say. And so let's say this was 1,600 square feet. There is a world where you can create 7 bedrooms out of 1,600 square feet. If you're taking a living room, if you're taking an office, there are also cases where people will convert garages into additional living space. So you might take a 1,600 square foot house, convert the garage, and maybe you're at 2,000 square feet. Any other questions? Yes.
You mentioned that he's a super host and he stands out. So what makes somebody stand out?
What makes a host stand out? Dave, do you want to talk a little bit about kind of your experience?
I wasn't thinking I was going to talk. Oh, I am so shy.
I would
What am
love
gonna
for you
do?
to talk.
Oh, God, no. All right. All right. Hi, I'm Dave. I was host number 1 on PadSplit platform. As far as not being that, my second property up. I heard they were coming in May. I had mine launched in April. So I bought my property in April, had that had 1 tenant in within a week of going live, had 4 tenants in paying all bills within a month of going live. So before I had to make my first payment on the property, all bills are being paid. Utilities, mortgage, the whole shebang. A month later, all 8 rooms are filled, and it's been filled pretty consistently ever since. Now, why is that? Well, I bought a home. I'll give you my buy box. My buy box is 4 or 5 bedrooms, all bedrooms up. If you're buying on a 2-story. So if you're doing that, there's plenty of space on the first floor for more bedrooms. If all bedrooms are up, you're going to have your master bedroom up there. You're going to have another bathroom upstairs. You're going to have a half bath downstairs. So it's relatively simple to turn that half bath into a full. And generally, you're talking about a square house. So you'll have, when you walk in, to the right will be your dining room. That's a bedroom. To your left will be an office. That's a bedroom. You'll have your living room adjacent to your kitchen. That's a bedroom. So I ended up with this home I bought, 5 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. I converted that to a 5-bedroom up, 3-bedroom down, 3 full baths within that. I've posted on Bigger Pockets now a couple of times. My full, all my expenses, all my income, just to show what's been going on. I pull in through PadSplit over $5,200 a month on average. Out of that, my net income is a little more than $2,000 on average. So I'm beating that because that doesn't include your expenses. That number is what PadSplit gives you before you pay your mortgage and everything. With this example, my number is net everything. All right. So for 10 homes, I get power of 10 homes with 1 home. All right. Now you had a question on size. I would aim, if you're doing 2-story, you want about 2,000 square feet. You don't want a 3,000 square foot home. A 3,000 square foot home has a bunch of dead, empty space in the middle. Where there's no windows. You can't get another bedroom in there. It's gonna be empty. It's gonna be dead. It's gonna be a problem. 2,500 square feet. A 1-story home, you want about 1,800 square feet, and you want to have 8 bedrooms. and that's what you're looking for. What makes me a little dissatisfied besides knowing my buy box is I monitor the challenges my tenants have. I respond within 48 hours to any concerns, whether it's something broke, whether it's anything. I respond, I let them go, hey, thank you very much, we'll be out there, and then generally it's me out there. I'm out there looking at it. Beyond that, I have it cleaned every month. Professional cleaners are out there every 3 weeks, so sometimes it's 2 times a month, depending on how it falls in the calendar. We started off at 4, we then went to 3 because I didn't want to go 2, just to keep it clean, cleaning up. When my cleaners show up, they take before pictures and after pictures. So I know how dirty it was before they got there. I have the after pictures to prove that they did their job, and then I pay them right away. So they're very happy, they're very responsive, they make sure things are fine, they give me a little report saying, I saw this was broken, what do we need to do about it? My lawn care, same thing, before and after pictures. They show up, they take a picture, so I can see if anyone's damaged the home in any way, shape, or form. They mow the lawn, they set it over. I don't have to be out there. I spend, for that $2,000 in net cash flow, about an hour and a half on the property a month. All right. So I have number 1. I'm buying numbers 2 and 3 in the next 3-4 weeks, depending when I close. And then I expect to be buying more because I want to retire. And at buy model, I only need 8 homes to replace my income and buy a boat. So that's what I'm doing. That's my plan. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Professional cleaner does what? Common areas only?
Yep, she does common areas only. Now, I told her that if she wants to cut a deal with any tenant to clean their room, perfectly free. I'm only paying for common areas. The hallways, the bathrooms, they take care of that area. But, some of the tenants, I think I had one do it one time. They don't tend to. Yep.
What is your name on Bigger Pockets? Where I can
Oh, what am I called? I'll remind you later. I'll remind you later.
Thank you.
I think it's just Dave Edwards. DJ Edwards, 83. Yep.
What about HOA? Do they have any problem?
HOA? Yes, I have an HOA with mine. The cool thing about PadSplit is you can't do Airbnb in most HOAs, right? They have a minimum stay. Well, my HOA has a minimum stay as well of 30 days, which is perfect. Other than that, I've only gotten yelled at once for not mowing the lawn in time. They don't tend to regulate backyards, so in order to alleviate the problem with there's too many cars, I turn my backyard into parking. I have my guys show up, a detached garage, by the way, it's the other part of the buyback. Detached garage, everything else, so that I'm good to go. However, Hannah has a good point. Sometimes a detached garage can give you more bedrooms if you want to go ahead. It's not detached. An attached garage can give you more bedrooms if you want to play there. Oh yeah, she also says no HOAs. I'm fine. But with a detached garage, you had a nice tight turn. You can get in the backyard. I put down crushed granite. We turned it into a parking lot. It was also great because it cut my lawn care bill in half. They're not mowing the lawn in the back. The thing that they will tell you is buy a home near public transportation. Nobody that I have wants to take a bus. They all have cars. One guy showed up with 3 cars. Okay? He sold 2 of them. He's got 1 now. But have enough parking figured out. Have a parking spot per bedroom. No. Someone was saying that, per the rules, they're only going to need 4 parking spots. It's not. You're going to have half the place empty. If they can't park, it's not good. Have enough parking. Okay. Who do I have there? I've got 1 retiree downstairs. He was upstairs, but I let him transfer downstairs for free because his knees were killing him. So I was being nice. So I let him make it. He's not that old. He just says he's hurt. I've had in the master, I've had a guy that was going through a divorce. Now he was there. Divorcees are going to be there for a short period of time. He's only there for 2 months. All right. He got back with his wife, which is terrible for me. No. Terrible for me. But he did that. I had another woman that was a cop show up. She didn't like the noise in the house. So she was there, and she ended up leaving. I thought having her there would be fantastic, and he would be less rowdy. It was not the case. So she left. But now I've got an artist in there. She seems to be going great with it. The other tenants are a couple entrepreneurs that just basically they sold everything in Atlanta. Cool thing about me is like 2 or 3 of my tenants knew about PadSplit already because they lived in Atlanta, and they literally moved to Houston because they went on PadSplit one day and they were like, I don't want to be here anymore. Where else can I go? And they saw Houston just popped up. So they drove across country to move into my place because it was there. Like, they just moved to my place, which is crazy. But beyond that, a couple of students. I got a woman that's becoming a mechanic, so she's getting her mechanic, so she's living there. And a couple of people that just have the lower wage jobs, like she's mentioning. You know, you can't afford to live anywhere else. But I provide a fantastic house. I mean, I got granite countertops in the bathrooms, in the kitchen. I got pendant lights. My kitchen is gorgeous. I'll show you some pictures. I brought them with me. I have a gorgeous house. It photographs well. And that's the other thing. Get a professional photographer. Just like Airbnb rules. Do not put an iPhone picture up and expect to rent your place out. Okay? Get a real. Do the Matterport thing, I guess. It's like $300. I don't know. But that's fine.
Do you have a camera system for common areas?
No. Because I don't want to deal with I got PadSplit because I don't want to deal with drama. So even if some drama is happening, I don't want to know about it. Right? So there's nothing. You can run into legal issues. I don't want to deal with it. Yeah.
We do, yeah.
They do marketing.
So, yeah, how does PadSplit market? Do we market to certain groups? Our main source of membership, PadSplit membership, is through Google Ad rooms for rent. You know, if you were to try to find a place that was affordable, you would probably do the same thing. I've certainly done it in my time in college. So rooms for rent is kind of a main source, and then market by market, we figure out what's going on in the area. So, you know, medical field is huge in Houston. We've also got refineries in Pasadena, and we have houses in Pasadena, so we will tailor to a market. But primary traffic, 80+% comes through Google searches rooms for rent.
When I was first getting going, I also used roomies.com. I still do that a little bit just to speed it up. I'll have a link in there to the PadSplit page. And I'll say right on there, room for rent, don't call me, click here, do this. And it's just to get it out there. They do their own stuff, but I just added to it because I think I'm more creative. I was like, awesome room with great people and blah, blah, blah. All right?
So for the market, how do you do your market research? Like, how do you know what zip code is like good, you know, where it's not good?
How do we do market research? Are you saying
Like
where to buy a home?
If you want to do this model, correct?
Yeah, it's a good question. So again, you know, a lot of these decisions, think of us as Airbnb, a lot of decisions end up on the investor. We have sort of, we do our own analysis where we can kind of understand areas that are, so as a real estate investor, it's not that different than what you would think about in terms of where can I buy a property at a good rate, and then also, you know, expecting that this property is going to increase in value as time goes on. So I wouldn't say that you have to think any differently about it with a PadSplit. You know, Diego, maybe you have thoughts on that, but that's generally how it works for us. As Dave was mentioning, some people consider public transportation in Houston, it's not as big a deal as in Atlanta. So, you know, we factor in, is this close to public transportation? If it is, maybe you have less parking. If not, you know, everybody needs parking. So there are certain factors, but we don't dictate where you go, and you can take a look at a PadSplit map. We have our active rooms online, and you can kind of see where people are at. Okay. So if you just go to padsplit.com, you'll see where rooms are active right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you normally target like A communities, or is there any stipulations on what type of communities that you
Do we target AV communities?
Or is there like a
No, there's no stipulations. It's totally up to you and where you can find a great deal. Yeah, there's no stipulations. Oh no, it's totally fine. And I'm here to talk all throughout the night. I want people to be able to speak too, so I don't want to take too much of anyone's time. But Cool. Well, thank you all so much. Come find me. Come find anyone in a PadSplit t-shirt and let's talk. But appreciate you all being here. And let's eat and let's drink.